What is up, everybody? We're about to break down Week 9's picks, and we're going to start it off here with the Thursday night football game, one that should be near and dear to your heart. We have the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. I know last week you were very confident going into this game that this was a win for the Niners.
Yeah, well, everyone died between now and then. Many sad beers were drank after that Seahawks game, and I'm sure we'll get into it in the red and blue rivalry. Fortunately, I think it'll be close. But I do give the nod to the Green Bay Packers. I do think they will win. I mean, you're going in with
180, man.
Yeah,
way to give up on your team, dude.
Well, yeah, when your quarterback dies, you would know something about that.
Yeah, I do. I know.
And then you have your star player, your tight end. Kittle's going to be out probably for the rest of the year. So, I mean, I think
he said 2 weeks.
Yeah, he says a lot of things. I love him, but he's part pro wrestler. You got to remember that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'll be close because Green Bay doesn't have their running backs, and even when they haven't had the same amount of talent, Frisco's always giving them a run for their money. So give me the Packers in a close 3-7-point game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers as well. It's like you said, there's too many injuries for the San Francisco 49ers. And I think San Francisco had their way with Green Bay last year, especially in the playoffs. And I think Green Bay's probably marked this one on their calendar, to be honest. And now that, San Francisco's going in kind of half-loaded, I think this is a game I expect Green Bay to win. So give me Green Bay as well. So let's move on to the Sunday games. We have the Denver Broncos at the Atlanta Falcons.
You know what? The Broncos got me a nice little win right there, and I'm going to take them again. I think that they're kind of the opposite of the Falcons in the sense that they may not start off great, but, man, they finish strong. And Drew Lock has some issues. I mean, he's still growing, but, I mean, he's not afraid. I think when I look at Drew Lock, he'll keep both teams in a game.
He does.
So give me them to kind of stay close and pull away with the win against the Falcons.
I agree with you. I'm going to go Denver on this one as well. I really think that was more bad Chargers than good Denver, though, to be honest, last week. But you're right. Denver, doesn't stop fighting.
No.
It doesn't matter how much they're down. And like you said, I think that's also one of the major characteristics of Drew Lock. He keeps slinging it. No matter, he forgets what the last play is, and he's ready to make the next big play. So I think that'll bode well for them too. And I think at this point, Atlanta, although they're playing better after the Dan Quinn firing, I'm still not ready to pick them as of yet. So the next game is the Seattle Seahawks at the Buffalo Bills. This is a pretty interesting game because you got Buffalo at home. Who you got here?
I'm going to take Seattle. I think it'll be a close game. I wonder if Buffalo can mimic what Arizona did. They have a pretty good defense, Buffalo. Not what it was a year before, but they still have a pretty good defense. You have a mobile quarterback. He's not as explosive as Kyler Murray, but he's also a little more powerful, a little more big, better passer. That Seattle defense isn't that great. I know their running backs are banged up. You should get Jamal Anderson back. At the end, I think that's the difference, and I got Seattle winning this one, going into Buffalo and handing Buffalo another loss. Plus, I kind of think there may be a little bit of letdown game for Buffalo after finally vanquishing New England.
Right.
Kind of just settling in.
Yeah, Buffalo takes the stranglehold on the AFC East, beating the New England Patriots. It looks like it's the end of the line for the New England Patriots, always winning the AFC East.
Yep.
As far as the Seattle Seahawks, you're right. You know what? This team, although I think it's one of the better teams in the NFL, it's not without their warts. They're not without their injuries. But with all that being said, I still think it all comes down to the fact that I trust Russell Wilson more than I trust Allen at this point. So give me the Seattle Seahawks as well. And then that brings us to the Chicago Bears at the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going to take Tennessee. They really stepped on a landmine.
Yeah.
We talked about before the season start, Tennessee is one of these, are they a 9-7 team or are they finally going to get out of that shell?
Right.
This is a good way to win. You've lost to some pretty good teams. You were undefeated. You lost to Pittsburgh. You kind of just fell on your face against Cincinnati. Oh, a rebound.
Everybody has a game like
You're
that.
at home.
Yeah.
You're playing a team that doesn't have a good quarterback. Win this game.
Yeah.
Win this game. Prove you're not just a nobody and go ahead and move forward.
I'm with you. I think Tennessee needs this game a lot more than Chicago needs this game. Even though, you can talk about the way the standings look and everything. Just as far as like a get-right game, Tennessee needs this game. Because like you said, are they just going to be another team that barely slips into the playoffs, loses some games they shouldn't? Or is this team going to be a legitimate front runner going into the playoffs? And this is the game you have to win to be that front runner. So I think Tennessee realizes that. Give me Tennessee in this game. That also takes us to the Baltimore Ravens at the Indianapolis Colts. Who you got on this one, man? This is a pretty good game.
I know. I think I'm leaning the upset here. I'm taking Indy at home. I think they're gonna shock some people. I think that wasn't just a fluke by Baltimore. I think there maybe is a few things that are kind of not going their way, and Indianapolis has this ability to kind of play great teams like this in Kansas City close to make it a dogfight. And I could be proven wrong, but this could be my first kind of upset. Give me Indy at home.
You know, I'm going to go with that same upset, too. And I mean, really, not because you picked it, not following along with you at all. I really feel like Indianapolis has a solid chance to pull this off. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore gets it together and steals the win. But I think right now this is a prime spot for Indy to take advantage because I don't think Lamar Jackson is quite MVP Lamar Jackson right now. And I think this is a very important portion of the season for the Ravens because they have to get their confidence back.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to feel that pressure. And I think Indianapolis is going to take advantage of that. And I can really see the upset. So I'm going Indy as well. That takes us to the next game. We have the Carolina Panthers at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, there will be no upset here. This is another, Kansas City has not performed the way they usually have coming into the season. But you have a get-right game against the Jets where everything's flowing. I think you get another get-right game. Well, Carolina's a better team than the Jets, and they're built different. They're coached better. I just think this is another game where Kansas City just puts it on a team, and they roll again. So give me Kansas City.
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think Carolina will give them a run for their money. I just think that as the game goes along, a team with so many weapons like the Kansas City Chiefs just has to have that explosion. Yeah. And they're going to pull ahead in the end. Give me Kansas City over Carolina. Then that takes us to Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota, man, came out of nowhere with the upset this last weekend. And Detroit finally falls. You know what, though? I'm going to go and say these fortunes turn around. I'm going to go with Detroit over Minnesota.
Wow. See, I'm not trying to... I got Detroit as well. I think that was Minnesota's Super Bowl. I think that was their big shot. I don't think they're not...
That was the highlight of their 2020 season. That's how I feel.
Yes. Yeah. Was able to do that. I don't think they'll be able to do that to Detroit. I think Detroit is a team that they're not going to play down to them. Whereas like Green Bay looked at Minnesota like, you're 1-5, you're not... And they're looking towards, they've got the Niners in 4 days. At the time, they thought all the Niners are still the Niners. So, when I look at stuff like that, I think that Detroit's going to kind of take advantage of that for Minnesota. And I think Stafford's going to have a big game.
Yeah, and then we have an NFC East matchup, nothing but the best here.
Yes.
The New York Giants at the Washington
football team.
Yeah. All right. Look, these two teams, it's all bad. These four teams, talking about the NFC East, are all bad. I really do feel, though, just call this a gut feeling. Just call this me watching closely this division and just realizing that New York Giants are starting to get a little bit of a heartbeat. They've encountered a lot of injuries, but I feel like somehow, some way, they're getting and it's just a little bit, I'm not saying a lot, but they're getting a little bit better as this season progresses. And I think that's going to account for something with the team as bad as the Washington football team. So give me the New York Giants here.
I kind of went the other way because I kind of feel differently. I feel like you walked away from that game knowing you could have won it, but at the same time, I mean, if you're one of those receivers, if you're that defense, you're looking at Danny Dimes sideways,
Yeah.
I mean, there were at least 2-3 throws. There were 2 open throws where if he just holds a second and delivers, he has the arm, he has the ability, but he gets off, then he throws these ridiculous picks. Give me Washington. I think they're going to go ahead and win this game. It's going to be another ugly game. I could see it, 20-14, 20-13. I mean, 5-2. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
But give me Washington to win this game.
So that takes us to the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. 9% of people on the Pro Pick'em app are taking Jacksonville. Count me in on the side that's the 91% side. I just think Houston right now is just a much better team than Jacksonville, pretty much all the way around now.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel. Jacksonville, they're ready. They're ready to start tanking. Yeah. Houston still, I mean, they could have given away who are they trading?
And it's over for Minshew.
Yeah, it's over for Minshew.
Fuller.
Yeah, they kept Fuller.
Yeah, they kept Will Fuller.
You still have Watson. I think they just have a little more talent. They're a little while more coached. I think Jacksonville will look completely different in 2021. So I think Houston takes advantage of that, gets back on track, and gets a win.
So then let's go to the later games. We have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, I'd really like to pick the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm honestly, as these weeks go by, I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Herbert. I'm willing to go so far to say that I'd rather have Herbert than Burrow right now. Just because I see the way that Herbert, though I think his deep ball is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think the confidence and the size that he has is something that you don't see every year. I wouldn't go so far as to say generational, but he's getting there. And right now, I know Burrow's behind a bad line, but hey, this Chargers line's missing Pouncey. They've had just as many injuries. Still, all in all, it's just not enough. Even Herbert is not enough to overcome the mess that is the Chargers organization. Give me John Gruden and the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think it's our first big difference. I'm going with the Chargers.
Really?
Yes, I think they're going to be at home. I think everything you said is true. I would still take it. Maybe one of these. This would be a great, maybe gridiron kind of prospects. And we could look at is Burrow versus Herbert.
Yeah.
In the sense that I agree with you, Herbert's better than I thought, but I think I'd still take Burrow. And it's a conversation for another time.
I'll ask this while we're on it, though. Is any of that based on college? Because just what I'm seeing in the pros, it's Herbert.
No, I think it's based on when I look at like what he's doing. Like, I mean, it would be fun to track how many times Herbert's asked to throw the ball versus how many times Burrow's. Burrow's going to break records for as many times he throws. And when you do that, you'll get some numbers, but you also, your team's depending on you. I think Herbert has a better coach, and I think Herbert has more talent around the ball. I mean, you have Keenan Allen and Mike
Hunter
Thomas.
Henry. Yeah, he's got some guys.
I mean, like you said, that's what allows him to be a little bit better. But, I mean, he is surpassing all my expectations. That's why I'm picking them to win. I think the Raiders, I just think that the fact they couldn't beat the Browns in a better fashion, the way the Browns are playing kind of says something. Like, I picked the Browns to win that game, but you could tell right away it just wasn't happening. And at the end of the day, give me, the Chargers are going to be one of those teams that win one, lose one. And so are the Raiders. So give me the Chargers.
I do see the Raiders like that a lot.
You know what? Give me them.
Oh, that's interesting, man. We are. I talked up the Chargers just to go against them. You talked down just to pick them.
Yes.
I don't know how this podcast works sometimes. Anyway, Sunday, the other late game, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. I love the Dallas Cowboys, man. I've been a fan.
Do you love them that much?
Yeah, I love them.
I think you should show your love in pick form.
You're right. I love them so much that I know that I can look them straight in the face and tell them you have no chance in winning. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
Yeah, the Steelers are monsters right now.
That's true love because I can communicate like that.
Yes, you can. You know what? I don't blame you. Pittsburgh, I think, is going to roll them. I don't even know who the court is. It Cooper Rush? Is it DiNucci? Is it Uncle Rico? Is it Jerry Jones?
I might just start doing some stretches and see if I can get on there.
Just loosen that arm up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this one is short and sweet. It's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that defense is going to be all over that line. All over whoever is taking snaps from center. There, It's going to be all bad,
be a jugs machine.
It's going to be all bad. Give me Pittsburgh, man, all the way. Miami Dolphins at Arizona is the next game on the slate. This is a really, really interesting game. I really like the way Miami's playing. I really like the way Flores coaches. I like the way he manages these games. I like the way he's managing these players. Tua breathing some life into Miami, and I can't speak highly enough of the way Kyler Murray is as far as an offensive weapon now with Hopkins. It is tough for me, but I think just because Arizona is technically the home team, I'm going to go with Arizona. But this is a close one, man.
Yeah, I really do. I think Flores has a chance. If Tua can be what people think he is, if he can get up there in that Burrow-Herbert kind of conversation, I think they have a really great team. They still have a ton of draft picks. Remember, they have Houston's draft pick.
Yeah.
They have their number one draft. So they're going to be able to get a premium player, or they can trade for more first-round picks.
Yeah.
The window's open. I think they're a year or two away, maybe just a year. But I like Miami, and I think I'm going to take Miami. I think they're a more well-rounded team.
The AFC East, man, is turning upside down this year.
Yep.
Because the bad teams are looking good. The usually good teams are looking bad. Then we have the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a rematch from Week 1 where New Orleans pulled it out. I think the fortunes are going to reverse in this one. I'm going to take Tom Brady over Drew Brees at this point. I think Tampa Bay's defense is playing just as good as New Orleans' defense usually does. I don't know. There's something about New Orleans that I'm just not. They win these games, but I'm just like I'm not sold on them yet.
No, yeah, there's something off with them.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't.
I can't put my finger on it, but I know it's there.
When this season ends, you're gonna find out. We're gonna hear it from players. We're gonna hear from sources about something that's wrong in there. This may be Drew Brees' last year. I mean, it's looking like that.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, give me the Bucs. I think they're surging. I think they found their formula, and it's not always pretty, but man, they can play good defense. And well, I think, and this is blasphemy, I just think that Daniel Jones' ability to throw deep, I don't know if Brees has that anymore. He's going to have to show that. And I think that you're going to have them control the ball against the Saints and give me the Bucs to win and get a little revenge and kind of take a little stranglehold on that NFC South.
Yeah, then that we're about to cap it off, but we have the Monday Night Football game. We have the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. 6% of the Pro Pick'em app is taking the New York Jets. I wonder who those guys are.
That's Adam Gase's family.
Right. It has to be, right?
Yeah. Wife, couple kids, the dogs.
Yeah. I'd love to say that this game's going to be anywhere near decent, but I don't think it is. And New England hasn't looked bad. They've looked sloppy. To be honest, that's what's strange.
They had a chance to win that game against the Bills. I mean,
they did.
If Cam doesn't fumble, I really do think they beat them.
And that's so weird because you don't see New England Patriot teams lose because of sloppy play.
Yeah.
And now you see that. You know, they're not that good. That's why they were, not beating the Bills, really taking a stranglehold on the Bills team. They probably would have in years past, but to see the fashion that they're losing with the fumbles and seemingly the bad calls at the end of the game, it's really weird. But in the end, this is the New York Jets. I don't know who I would pick right now between Cowboys and Jets. I really don't know. I think 0-0 tie. I'd probably call that. I don't know. Or 3-3.
I don't know. I have 2-2 safeties.
Yeah, 2-2 maybe. I don't know. So because they're that bad, I'm going New England.
Yeah, I think that they're two bad teams, but give me Cam to kind of right the ship. And I mean, New England, you hear Belichick, they feel like they've kind of sold out to win these Super Bowls, so they're in a mini rebuild. But even that being said, their backups can probably still beat the Jets. I don't see this as even a close game, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think the coaching and the talent's on the side of New England. Give me New England to win actually pretty comfortably. Although, as I say that, one last thing is, Sam Darnold, if he's healthy, he's the last bright hope for the Jets that sees something worth watching because of his abilities.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just don't think he's healthy, and I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, so that wraps it up here. Week 9 in the NFL. We're already halfway through, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. We're almost there. We're into November.
Yeah, we're already into the home stretch. So how'd you do on your picks last week? What did we get?
Oh, not too good.
Me neither, man. Lots of upsets.
Lots of upsets. We talked about the Cincinnati one. We talked about the Viking one.
Crazy.
They had a funeral up in Seattle for the Niners. Everybody died there. Those are my picks, man, and for them to go down in flames. You looked at another one we didn't talk about real quick is Atlanta pulling off a little upset, beating Carolina. They showed they had some things. They're not just going to lay down.
Fight. Yeah.
They do. That they're two close teams, I think. So that's bound to happen. But yeah, it was just the week of the upsets. Anything in particular for you?
To me, the most shocking upset was Minnesota beating the Green Bay Packers. I just didn't see that. But like I said, like we spoke about it a little earlier, that I think that was their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think this is the game. If they were going to take one on this schedule, it was that one.
And then I think we'd be remiss not to talk about the Pittsburgh-Baltimore one. That was a heavyweight fight.
That was a great game.
That was a great game. It came down to the last wire. And it was kind of, the truth is that when you look at what happened with Lamar Jackson, he just made some mistakes, and that's what cost him. You can't do that in close games. I think what that game told me is I feel like we're kind of going towards, it's like this matchup of Pittsburgh and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and just sign me up for that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great one.
Sign me up for that.
Offense versus defense right there, all the way. So yeah, man. Hopefully, we do a lot better on the picks
Yeah,
here.
I'd like to win more than 7.
I'd like to do better than 500.
Yeah.
But I guess the Jason Garrett curse is upon us all.
Yep.